Yeah, we're just kind of exposed to a lot of music from the beginning, you know. My grandparents were musical, so my granddad played guitar and he could sing and he could also yodel, which I thought was really cool. My uncle played the drums and he was awesome at it. And, you know, whether it was listening to gospel music on a Sunday or my mum listening to Top 40, I was just around a lot of music as a child and I'd never looked at it as something that I would pursue as a child. Like, you know, I was just enjoying it with my cousins. And, you know, I remember this one time in particular, my cousins and I were sitting out of the front of their house and we just ended up like improvising this little original song and tune. And we just did things like that. Yes, 100%, because I studied music before I studied filmmaking, and what I found, especially in editing film, knowing and understanding rhythms and timing, editing came quite naturally for me. So that was something that I was always really strong at. And obviously working in different digital audio workstations and DAWs and software programs, it was really easy to pick up like editing software programs as well. So in a nutshell, it was really my journey to sobriety that led me to create Soulset Studios and Soulset Records. Like, I grew up around a lot of substance abuse as a child, and this had a lot of devastating effects in my life. You know, I grew up without really knowing who I was. I didn't have a really good, you know, sense of self-worth, and I also didn't really have any purpose in life. And it wasn't until I got sober that I began to, I guess, get to know me, you know, get to know who I was truly. And I came to understand that, oh, so the real me isn't this physical body that I'm in, but it's my soul, you know. The real me is what's underneath this physical body. And so I started to learn a lot about what love looks like. And this was important to my journey to sobriety, because in order to get sober, you've really got to learn how to love yourself and how to, you know, not harm yourself. And through this process of learning about love, I discovered love is not an intellectual process. It's all of these painful emotions that, you know, need to be felt and released from the soul. And that's how I came up with the name Soulset, because growing and healing is very much not about changing your mindset. It's about changing your soul set. It's about connecting with your feelings and who you are. And it's about like just being willing to face every single emotion inside of you that is painful, that has been holding you back. It's about coming to understand you have value and worth and purpose in this world, no matter the color of your skin, and that everyone is equal, because underneath this physical body is a human soul. So thanks to this process that I've been going through, I'm now 10 years sober, I'm vegan, I'm treating myself much more better in my life. I'm, you know, striving to treat others better, striving to be more conscious of how I'm impacting the environment and how my choices are affecting other living creatures as well. So yeah, in 2021, I was approached to create a composition for a short animation, and that won silver at the AEFF Awards in 2022. And I guess this inspired me to want to create my own like animated music video series. So I wrote a 4-part music video series and only got to release 2 so far. But yeah, one of those videos was nominated for the Prague Music Video Awards, so I was really stoked about that. I love it. The support is amazing, but it doesn't actually put food on your table. And as an artist, that's the goal. You want your art to be able to help you to pay for your basic needs at the very least, your basic human needs, which is food, shelter, and water. So, you know, these opportunities don't always lead to being able to put food on the table, unfortunately. But, you know, I'm not ungrateful for it, and I'm totally grateful for the support. And I think it's really good for perhaps leveraging more work opportunities. If people who want to hire you or book you as an artist or as a composer, and they see that you've received support from these particular music industry professionals, then I guess in that way it can be a benefit and a bonus. Good question. So I started out as a singer-songwriter, so it's just me and my acoustic guitar. But over time, my studio setup has evolved completely, with electronic, like musical instruments and MIDI controllers and things like that. So my setup is completely different now. Like, I utilize a lot more electronic, like MIDI instruments in my music production, in my performances. So yeah, it's definitely evolved over time into a more kind of geeky, I guess, setup with lots of gadgets and buttons and knobs to, press and turn. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm a total MIDI controller nerd. Yeah, I have to admit that I don't listen to a lot of new music. If I'm gonna listen to music, it's gotta be the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. I love listening to like music from that era, whether it's Tracy Chapman, Janet Jackson, Alanis Morissette, Sheryl Crow, like all of the cool bands from that era. But if we're gonna go with something recent, I love listening to Hans Zimmer. I recently just watched a doco on how he created the score to the film June. That was like so amazing, and I was like, man, I want to work with Hans Zimmer one day. Like, that is my ultimate dream and goal. Hans Zimmer, if you're watching, if you want to hire a little like indie professional from Australia, like, hit me up. I'm keen. I know, I can sample some toys from Kmart if you like. Yeah, it's just like I love geeking out on like documentaries like that. So yeah, basically, like, there's been a lot of rejection, a lot of no's, more than yeses, and it's been quite, frustrating at times. And I've had to deal with a lot of like grief and sadness and all these emotions about not being able to get anywhere in this industry. But yeah, I guess the thing that has helped me the most is to, like I say, just fully go into those feelings and use them as an opportunity to heal something from my childhood, whether that's rejection I felt from my family or my father, or being able to link it back to my childhood and heal something from my life that is basically an emotion that I may have suppressed during childhood or not been able to feel through. All of these frustrations and anger and experiences of feeling rejected constantly in this industry has always been an opportunity for me to heal something in my childhood. And it's important to recognize that often what we attract into our lives right now is often a mirror of what we need to heal and what we haven't yet healed in our soul. And I can say it works because going through this process of feeling through every single emotion, I can see the positive benefits of that today in my life because, slowly but surely I'm starting to get some yeses. And that's the beauty of going through this emotional process, is that you don't have to fight for what you want. You work on yourself, you work on your craft, you work on your emotions, you work on your healing, and then all of a sudden people start actually coming to you and asking you to do things, and they're inviting you to participate. Well, this is a great question because I think it's really important to, first of all, know who you are, know what your true personality is, what your unique nature is, and do as much as you can to express that in the world through your passions, through your gifts, your talents. I think that's the greatest gift that you can give to the world, is your unique expression. Because there is no other person out there in the world that is exactly like you. your unique soul and personality is unique to you. So for me, that's really important, to discover who I am, to discover what my true personality and unique nature is, and do as much as I can to express that into the world in the most loving way possible. And how I am, and my quirks, and, you know, like my weirdness, and like everything about me, my essence, my feelings, my like emotions, like that has so much more value to me now, you know. Like I've come to learn the value of who I am, like, and the value of my soul in this world, where for a long time I did not value that or see the value of it. So for me, it is the most important thing to share in what I do, and I try to do my best to share. So my Aboriginal heritage has had such a positive impact, you know, on my journey as an artist. If it wasn't for my Aboriginal heritage, you know, perhaps I wouldn't have been surrounded by as much music as I was as a young child growing up. So I'm grateful for that. That exposed me to a lot of music, you know, growing up, and I was able to then develop my own like taste and I guess my own, I guess, love of music later on throughout my life. So it's had such a positive impact in that way, and so many of my opportunities have come from my community, and that's something that I'm really grateful as well. On the flip side, sometimes it can be a negative, because you only get sort of like, you can sometimes be pigeonholed into only getting Aboriginal opportunities, and that can be frustrating at times. Or, you know, there's a lot of unconscious bias as well, which can be a bit frustrating. But again, these are all opportunities to feel through and to heal something in my life, whether that's intergenerational trauma or something from my childhood. So I always, you know, look at my journey and my Aboriginal heritage and the impact that has on me as a human soul, and the impact that has on me in my life and my career. The intensive has actually completed. I've finished the recording. The thing that I was looking most forward to was the actual recording, and let me tell you, it did not disappoint. I had so much fun, like being at Trackdown Studios and, you know, recording my score with live musicians, something that I would never be able to afford or do. So I just had so much fun. It was really emotional and a dream come true, you know, to have my music be played by live musicians, and I can't wait to do more. So my favourite track is While We Dream, because I grew up listening to 90s jungle, and I just thought this was an awesome opportunity to experiment in creating in this style, which I've never done before. So While We Dream is my favourite track, and of course the other one as well, Expanse. So yeah, I just love drum and bass jungle. I love like making really like cool upbeat kind of music and tunes. So that's my favourite one. So I was recently selected to do the Screen Song Hubs with Caitlin Yeo and APRA, and we're going to be working on a couple of TV shows with Paramount Australia, which I'm really excited about. So I've got that coming up. I've also going to keep releasing music as electronics. I'm going to keep making YouTube videos. I'm going to keep creating. Stay tuned.